Hi, I'm Melissa of Lovely Paper Crafters, and I'm here tonight to show you a card. I was commissioned by the girls at my work to make a card for a party that we'll be attending. So I wanted to show you because I had to make it this weekend because the party's coming up pretty soon. And I don't really have a lot of time to do it, so I thought, well, what's the sense of doing another card when I could show you a card that I'm going to make. So this is a retirement card. I'm going to use two stamp sets. So I have one that's retired, so the Wild About Flowers one, and it's because it has a retirement saying on it, and that's the only reason I'm using that one. But the new one I'm using is the Prized Peony stamp set. And the reason I'm using that stamp set is because the girl that I am making the retirement card for has always taken me out. Hi, Jane. Has always taken me out to buy flowers every year so I could have flowers on my balcony. I like doing gardening, so I do some of that at my parents' house. So on my balcony I have flowers, and she always takes me out every year to do that. So I'm just going to show you a card I'm going to make for her, and I'm just going to show you the stamping part of the card. So what I use for the card, and I'm just going to move you guys down here. And hopefully my video doesn't keep moving on me. For some reason it doesn't like to stay still anymore. It's to go slanted. Alright, so here's hoping we can see that without me falling off the table. So what I'm going to use is a large piece because we're wanting signatures on all the girls from my work and all the men and girls from my work. So we want a large card. So I just took a 8.5 by 11 sheet and I just folded it in half. So that's all I did. And then I cut out a from the Prized Peony paper, I cut out a pink sheet of that fits on there. So it has gray on the back, but I'm using the pink side. And I used one of our framelits to cut that out. And I'm going to use that to do the peony on the card. So this is the large flower, and this is the largest flower I own. So I don't have anything bigger than that. But I thought that would look really pretty with the paper, and I'm sure she'll like it. So I'm just going to move that over. The card is big, so I don't have a lot of surface here, so there we go. So what I'm going to use is just a gray stamp pad to try it out, and it might not work. Like I said, I haven't done this one before, so we'll see what happens. I've seen a lot of people on Pinterest use gray in the background, so we're hoping this will work for us. So I'm going to do it this way, just because sometimes when it's a bigger stamp, it's better to put your stamp your stamp pad to your stamp instead of the opposite direction, and then you know what's covered. Here's hoping it's all covered. It looks all covered to me. And then I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends to color it in. But first I'm going to do the gray part. And I'm going to put it right in the middle of the card because I do want to put a little saying on the top and a little saying on the bottom. So I'm just going to do it that way. Oh, and it did work out really nice, so that's how it turned out. So that's quite nice. So the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to take my saying. So congratulations on your retirement. And it's sad that I don't have any bigger sayings, but I don't have very many retirement sayings. So this is the only one I have, so I'm going to use that one. Here's hoping we got it in the middle. So that's congratulations on your, and then I'm going to put retirement on the bottom. And the nice part about this stamp that I'm using, it's very pretty, so it does really look good with the, yeah, it is from the Ornate Dies, Jane, the one that I'm using. Just let me check, because I'm mixing them up with my other dyes. Like I said, I'm just making this up as I go, so, and of course there's not a book right beside me, because I moved everything around my apartment. I'm just looking, and I used to have all my dyes labeled, and then I realized that I can't kind of keep up with it, being that I'm working. If my book could just pop out of somewhere, that would be great. It's bad when you move things around your apartment. Oh, there it is. Perfect. So the frame that I'm using is from the, it's the largest one from the, and of course now I can't find it. So I'm going to have to find it in a minute, because my book is not right beside me where it usually is. Alright, so the second part we're going to do is the retirement. So we're just going to make that, so sometimes when I'm doing a saying, I just make sure it's flush to the top of the block, and that it looks as straight as I can get it. And it kind of helps you place it. I'm just going to put that right there at the bottom. So that's how it came out. So congratulations on your retirement. So that looks really pretty, and it fills up all the space. So the next part we're going to do is we're going to take our markers. So tonight I'm going to use light, so for the stems I'm going to do light crumb cake and dark crumb cake. I'm going to use dark mint macaron and light mint macaron, and I'm going to use dark petal pink and light petal pink, just because the petal pink is what actually goes with the paper that we're using. I'm just hoping you can see that. I've got my son coming in the window again. There we go. That should be a little better. Alrighty, so next we're going to start with the stems. So I'm just going to make those, I'm going to make the stems, I'm going to go over it with the brown, I think I'm going to go over it with the green also. Like I said, I haven't ever done this one before, so we'll see what happens. So that's the light crumb cake, and then we're going to go over it with the dark crumb cake. I'm going to use the little end. And it just makes a variation of the color. Just makes it kind of pop out a little bit more. Just so the leaves look a little bit different, because you don't want your stems and your leaves looking identical in color. So that's that one. Then we're just going to take the dark and highlight the leaves a little bit. So any type there's a dark spot, you would just highlight. So just like that. And so anytime there's a little gray spot, you would just highlight it. Just like that. And remember that this part here is actually a flower, so don't make that green, because we do want that pink. Alright, so that's my highlights. And then you're going to go over it with the light in Macaron. I'm going to use the big one. It's just such a big surface, so sometimes it's just easier to use the big end when you have a bigger surface. It's not a tiny flower, that's for sure. There we go. Make sure it's all filled in there. And if you go over it 1 or 2 times, it just blends it a little bit better sometimes. There we go. So that is our leaves and our stem. And I'm just going to go over one more time with the light brown, just to make the stem look a little bit different than the leaves again. So you can go over it multiple times with the colors. It's not going to hurt anything, but it'll just make it a little bit different of a color, so it does look more like a stem than a flower. And then we're going to take our dark and light petal pink, and we're going to start with our light. So I always do light first, dark last. I find that's easier for me. Sometimes I do it the opposite direction, but this time I'm going to do the light first, because I'm going to just color the whole flower in, and then I'm going to highlight it with the dark. And then I'm probably going to go over it one more time with the light, so it blends a little bit better together. And there's a leaf there. So I've missed a leaf, so I'm going to go back and do that in a minute. Like I said, you're just going to go over it quickly. So don't sit there and go la 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 la, because you'll be there all week coloring. It's the reason we have these markers is to do it quickly. You don't have to sit there all night long and go in one little area. And because they're alcohol markers, they will eat through your paper if you sit there too. So all you want to do is go over like a big wash all over it. And then you're going to take your dark one, and you're going to do the same thing we did with the leaves. You're going to take it and you're going to highlight all of those gray areas that we stamped. So everything that's gray is going to get dark. And this is a really pretty color. I really like this because it's kind of a light orange color. It's pink, but it's a light, like a light orangey pink color. So it's a little bit better, like easier to use as a flower color. You can use it for tons of different colors, for tons of different things. It's one of the colors I use, I would say, the most out of all my colors. The crumb cake is the second probably one I use. So we're just going to go over all of those little areas. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just go down where the bottom of the leaf, just to make sure that pops up a little bit. And then once we're happy with that, we will take our light petal pink and then go through over it one more time. And you're going to just do a wash again. So it's a very pastel-y kind of card. It's not very bright, not very dark, but it looks very pretty with the paper we're using. So we're going to, because I missed that little flower, we're going to go over that again. Oh. And then that's what it looks like so far. So if you want any more highlights, you can take your dark petal pink and just highlight it a little bit again, and then you can leave some of them not so blended in. If you're not happy with anything, it's always okay to just go over it one more time. There's no rules, but you just want to do it quicker. You don't want to sit there and dot everything. You just want to go over quickly until you're happy with it. And we're going to do this one first, so we're going to go do the little bulb that's coming up. I don't know what you call that. I'm just going to call it a bulb. There we go. And just blend that in with the light. And we're going to finish this leaf here. I just made that one a little bit darker. I'm just going to take my dark color and then just make the stems a little bit darker, just so it shows up a little bit. So that's the dark color, and just to make it stand out a little bit. And you can take your brown. Actually, I'm quite happy with how that turned out. So I think that looks really great. You can go over it a few more times if you don't like the colors, but it's if you do that, you might be going through the back of your paper. So watch you don't make a hole in your paper, because it is these kind of markers, they do go through. Hi Nicole, hi Marlene. It is, I always use shimmer cardstock, Jane, for these markers, because if not, you'll usually bleed right through. So it is the shimmer paper for that. Anyway, so I'm going to show you the rest of my cards. So I'm going to put it all together. Now, the girls at work are going to be writing, or the girls and gentlemen at work are going to be writing in. We just have so many women at work that I always forget that we do have men that work with us. Not many of them, but a few of them. So I'm going to take the Stampin' Seal, and we're just going to paste this paper down. And you're wanting to make a border around it that's kind of equal. And with this big of a card, it's kind of hard to see all of your sides at the same time. So we're just going to try our best. There we go. And then we're going to take the gray and put that down. I'm not going to make, just because it's, I'm getting the girls at work to write inside of it, I'm not going to make it pop up too much. But I'm going to make that layer a little bit up a little bit. So we are going to use some dimensionals to do that. Now with a big card like this, you want to use more dimensionals than what you would normally use. And so we'll balance that out, see if we can get the same width on each side. There we go. And we're going to take this and we're going to take some dimensionals. Now I was away for the weekend and I did take some of my crafting supplies with me. So of course everything is all over the place. So I haven't had a chance to put anything away yet. So let me see if I have enough here. And of course my adhesive is, my supply of adhesive is at the other end of the room. That's just the way things work sometimes. So you're wanting to do kind of like 4 like this. It's just because you don't want it to dip in the middle, right? So 2 there, and 1 here. And you know what we might do? We'll just might put, I'm just using the ends of my dimensionals because you can use them too. Sometimes I cut off these little parts here, those little parts, and then use them for smaller projects. So we're going to do 3 across. So this is a lot of adhesive, and it's only because it's a big card that I'm using that many. So we're using 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 dimensionals for that. And so we're going to stick that down, and then it's just going to pop up a little bit. So it'll give it a little bit more dimension. And one of my things are still, so let me grab my poker tool wherever I put it. It was on my desk a few minutes ago. Kind of like when I was in high school and I'd always lose my pens. So this is the same kind of size as a pen. So I lose it quite often. Goes rolling under things or on the floor. I'm just getting all those little white little dots out of the framelit cut out. And you're just going to put that into the middle of that card, and it will look like that. And then for in the insides, because I want the girls to be able to write inside of it, I've cut 2 pieces of white cardstock out, and what I'll do is I'll paste them down inside there and then give them tons of room to write messages. It's funny because me and one of my coworkers the other day, when we were writing in a card, she says, "Isn't it funny that you look at what everybody else is writing and sometimes copy them, so the same saying or phrase will be used over and over again?" So for this card, we're going to use a phrase from the Retired Stamp set. Like I said, it's not easy to, when you're doing a bigger card, to get it balanced out properly. So here's hoping that worked out. And I'm going to do the other side right away. And I'm going to stamp a saying in the inside. And then they can write around the saying. The girls have had me make different cards in the past. The one time the doctor that worked beside us in his immigration clinic, he retired, And we had a big, because we worked with him over many, many years, and we had a retirement party for him. And I made a tie card for him because he always had different ties, and he usually had socks that matched his ties. He was so much fun. Anyway, so that's that, and the inside looks like that. And then we're going to stamp, and the stamp set says, may the very best life holds for you be yours in the days and years ahead. I think that's a nice saying. Sometimes I don't get rid of or sell off my products because I really fall in love with the sayings. So this stamp set, I really fell in love with the sayings. The flowers are really pretty, but the sayings are wonderful on it. So I want to try to get it as straight as I can, even though I have a Stamparatus that would help with that. Sometimes I like to do things freehand, and then there's the saying inside. So that's... Hi, Nicole. Millie is retiring. Yeah, so that's my card. Here's hoping Millie doesn't see this before I do it. I don't think she watches my videos. I think she's looking after her granddaughter most of the time. So here's hoping. Anyways, that's my card. And I'll be back on Tuesday. So Tuesday I'll do a technique. I'm not sure which technique I'll do. I've been trying to play around with different techniques and coming up with different things. So I'm not too sure what kind of technique. A lot of girls in our Stampin' Up! Group have shown me a whole bunch of techniques. So I might try one of those for Tuesday. Thanks, Karen. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you on Tuesday at 6:30, and I hope you enjoyed that card, and that only took me, what, 27 minutes to do? That's pretty good. Sometimes it takes me an hour to make a card, but that one didn't take too long. Anyways, I will talk to you guys on Tuesday, and have a great night. Thanks. Bye.